Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. Some people don't lose friends. They slowly push everyone away without even knowing they're doing it. Psychologists say there are certain traits, rare traits, that quietly isolate a person, not because they're bad people, not because they're unlikable, but because their mind is wired differently. Most people never notice these traits in themselves until one day they wake up and realize everyone else has moved on without them. But here's where it gets even worse. These traits don't just push people away. They convince you that being alone is normal. Psychology says people rarely distance themselves because they hate you. Most distance happens because they don't understand you. And when people can't read you, they assume you don't care. And this next part explains why some people go from having friends to being completely isolated without realizing what changed. Trait number 1, overthinking every social interaction. People with this trait replay conversations in their head over and over. One awkward moment becomes a reason to disappear for days. One misunderstood text turns into self-doubt. They pull back because their brain whispers, "You said something stupid," even when nothing actually happened. And the sad part, nobody knows why they suddenly went silent. People assume they're not interested. Trait number 2, being too emotionally independent. These people survive everything alone. They don't ask for help, don't share their struggles, don't open up. What they see as strength, others see as emotional distance. So friends slowly stop trying, not because they don't care, but because they think you don't. Trait number 3, low social energy, even around people they like. They get tired fast. Socializing drains them, mentally and physically. They leave gatherings early. They cancel plans to recharge. They disappear for weeks. And while they're just protecting their energy, others assume they're being ignored. This unintentional distance builds silently, and before they know it, invites stop coming. Trait number 4, high sensitivity to disappointment. These people feel let down very easily. A late reply, a canceled plan, a slight tone change, all of it hurts deeper than it should. Not because they're dramatic, but because their brain connects small disappointments to bigger emotional wounds. So they pull away first, trying to protect themselves, which looks like rejection to the other person. Trait number 5, rare standards for friendship. They don't want 50 casual friends. They want 1 or 2 real ones. They value loyalty, depth, honesty, emotional safety. They don't tolerate shallow behavior, fake kindness, half-hearted effort. And because these standards are rare, they often end up with no one. But the truth is, they're not lonely because they don't deserve friends. They're lonely because they refuse to settle for connections that feel empty. I want you to think about this. How many people have you lost not because they were bad for you, but because you stopped communicating? How many friendships faded not because they didn't care, but because they couldn't read your silence? If any of these traits hit you harder than you expected, good. It means your mind is finally waking up to patterns you've been ignoring for years. Nothing changes until you stop pretending these traits don't affect your relationships. If you want to break this cycle, here's the first step. Communicate 10% more than you're comfortable with. Reply even when you feel quiet. Tell people when something bothers you. Share small pieces of your life. Stop assuming others just know how you feel. Your silence looks like disinterest, even when all you wanted was peace. The truth is, you don't need to change who you are. You just need to allow people to understand you, because once people know the real you, you'll realize you were never meant to be alone.